Hey guys, it's Anna. Welcome to my first video tutorial. Today we're just going to be going over how to create a simple printable in Photoshop. The first thing that I would do is just click on the Photoshop. I'll click New just so I can go ahead and title it, add the dimensions so we can get a brand new document. We're going to title this one Choose Joy. Like I said, it's just going to be a simple printable, and then later on we'll probably do more involved tutorials with some printables that have a lot more going on with them, but for this one we're just going to do a simple one to start out. I make most of my printables 8 by 10. You can make them whatever size you would like. I just find that that is, a very common size that people would want the printable in. I also always make sure that the resolution is at least 300 pixels. You want it to be of good quality if you're going to be selling the printables or if they are going to be going up on a website or anything like that. You just want to make sure that you have good quality printables. So that is usually what I make sure that it's at is 300 for the resolution. And then you have the option of making the background white, transparent. For the printables, obviously, I'm going to do white. If you were making like some sort of graphic for a website or anything like that, a lot of times that's better to have a transparent background. But for your printable, I would definitely suggest white or whatever other color that would go with the printable that you're creating. So I'm just going to go ahead and click OK. As you can see over here, this is where all the layers are displayed. You automatically have the background layer, which is the white background that you chose. I like to make sure that I have a separate layer for each part of the text of the printable just because they're easier to rearrange and resize whenever they're each in a separate layer. So what I'm going to do is just click down here on create a new layer, and you can see that a new layer is created there. And then I'm going to click the text button over here, and then I'm just going to go ahead and make a text box so I can type the first word in there. The font that I'm going to use for the first part of the printable is just going to be a very simple, not a script font or anything. I like to have different types of fonts. It looks good when you have like a simple font and then more of like a fancy script font whenever you're creating your printables. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the Avenir next for the first part of the printable. You can see that it's in this green color. I actually want to change that to black. So I'm just going to, all I did was click here on the color picker and then chose what color I would like the text to be in, and then I click OK. Actually, it didn't change it. Let me highlight it. We're going to do that one more time. And then, so it changes the color of the text there. I'm just going to click the check mark. Now, I definitely want that to be a lot bigger. So what I would do is hit Command T, which brings up a resizing box. I am using a Mac, so Command T is what brings up that box. If you're using a PC, I feel like it may be Control T. It's a different command, but I feel like it might be Control T. But for a Mac, we're going to do Command T. I'm going to just grab the corner of the box and make it bigger. We can always change that again later once we see what the other word is going to look like. I'm going to go ahead and click the checkbox. So we're ready for the second word. I'm going to go down and create another layer, a new layer. Then I'm going to hit the text box again, and then I'm just going to draw another text box. Now this one I do want to be in a different font. So I'm going to go down. I really like the Medina script font. A lot of the stuff on my website is in that font. I just feel that it's a very pretty brush script font. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and type Joy. I'm going to kind of make this box fit that a little better, and then I'm going to click the check mark. We're going to do the Command T again to bring the resizing box back up. Then I'm just going to expand this out to the size that I want it. I'm going to click it and just kind of move it around, try to get everything oriented just the way we would want it. So I feel like that's a good size. So I'm going to go ahead and click the check mark. This is too far away, so just remember, depending on what part of the printable you're wanting to edit, you need to make sure you have that layer highlighted over here on the right. So I'm going to highlight that again. If I click this button, it's the move tool. I'm going to go ahead and select that, and it helps me just move this around to where I would like it. I feel like that's a good choice there. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that there. Now, if you wanted to change the color of any part of the text of the printable, it's super easy. You would just click on the word that you would like the color changed. I would click text again, and then just click the word, and I would just highlight what it is that I would like the color changed. You would click on this, and you could choose any color, obviously. Just to give you an example, you know, say you wanted to do this color. You just select it, hit OK, hit the check mark, and it changes the color of the word for you. I'm going to leave it black just because, like I said, this is just a super simple, easy printable, nothing too complicated. So I'm going to actually click back on it, and we're going to change it back to black. But you can make it any color you would like. So I'm going to hit OK, hit the check mark, and that's it. It's super simple just to make a printable with just some wording on it. It does get a little more complicated when you add more graphics or pictures, but we'll be having more tutorials later on that show that process as well. So that's it. Next thing you're going to do is just go to File and Save As. Now, if you're going to be listing the printable for sale like on Etsy or any other site, it is super important to make sure to save it as a JPEG so they will have a quality printable when they go to have it printed. I normally save it in my documents and just make sure it has the .jpg here, and then I just click save. We're going to go ahead and hit replace, and on this I don't normally mess with this at all. I just go ahead and hit OK, and there you have it. Your printable is saved and it's ready to be listed if you want it for sale or if you wanted to print it and have it put in your own home. It is very simple. Thanks for joining me, and like I said, we'll have a lot more tutorials later on with how to use some of the other different features of Photoshop. Thanks so much.